Someone once told me that the way I live my life is not how they envisioned it for me. And in the end, I feel like they had good intentions, but it's like, how do I take that positively when what's followed after that is disappointment? So it's like, who is really disappointed in that case where it's like, I don't live up to what you think I should be, and then apparently it's like I'm not following all your wishes. So it's like you don't see how I want to live my life. That's a big dog. You don't see how I want to live my life. So you're kind of bashing me to make me feel like I'm not doing everything that I possibly can. And then I had to stop myself mid thought where it's just like, hey, I'm doing everything that I possibly can. And people's limitations of me comes from their inability to not see from a different perspective. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with them. Their limitations that they're trying to put on me and I'm not absorbing it is what they have an issue with. People have their own belief systems. They have their own fears, their own doubts, and this is all from like learned behavior of things that they've tried and that hasn't worked out for them. And it's like when you go to them and you ask for their advice or anything, it's like that's what they're drawing on. That's their knowledge base, and anything that they try to tell you is coming from that. Now, you who don't have those types of limitations, don't have those experiences that they've had and everything, it's like you'll never think of doing what they're suggesting their way. But then when they're giving you their advice, they're also trying to put their fears on you as well. Because it's like, all right, so if I wanted to become like a basketball player professionally, right? So it's like, all right, it wouldn't be all of that out there because when I was younger, I played netball. And then when I came to America and went to high school, I played basketball. So it's like if I wanted to take that serious, I could really go for it. But what people don't understand is that whatever I choose to do, if I choose to do it, I can do it 100%. And if they're thinking that they can't do it, they're gonna be like, oh, that's really hard to get into, or you're not like that young anymore, so it's gonna be harder for you to train. And it's just like every limitations that they have, they're gonna try pass it on to you. And if you're not strong enough to think that I don't care what limitations you have, I'm gonna do this anyways, you're gonna get trapped in that whole thing where it's just like, I could have done this, but all of these people say that it's basically impossible. So I never went for it. So now you're kind of left thinking that you should do something that you never tried. And you're always going to have that regret where it's just like, I could have done this, but I allowed other people to basically talk myself out of it. And that's the thing. You allow other people to talk yourself out of it. They can talk you out of doing anything. You talk yourself out of doing it. Like they can give you what they think about it and everything, but it's ultimately your decision to make where it's like, okay, I'm going to go forward with this, even though everyone is telling me, no, don't do it. And I'm going to prove them wrong. Or I'm just going to listen to everyone and not follow my dream. You ever realize that you start fearing certain things because somebody around you has a fear of that, and for some reason you just absorb that fear? Or you ever realize that you normally take certain risks because you think it's really fun to do, but somebody in your head is always like, oh, it could be a family or a friend where it's just like, hey, I don't think you should be doing that, that's not safe. you should really think about that before you actually do it. And then before you know it, you're walking away and not doing that thing that you actually wanted to do. That's how you know you've started to absorb other people's fears and other people's limitations, where it's like, if they weren't around, you would do exactly what you wanted to do. And I realized that was happening to me with a lot of things. Like, I know someone who had a fear of walking down the stairs because they feel like they're gonna just trip and like bust their ass or something. And I've never had that fear, like ever. And all of a sudden, I'm going down the stairs and I'm like, oh, I should probably hold on and take my time because I don't want to trip and fall. And I'm just like, wait, what? Coming from the person who will run down the stairs if whenever she feels like it. And I'm just like, where did I get that from? And I'm thinking about it and I'm just like, oh, I remember this person was actually telling me that they had a fear of falling down the stairs. And for some reason, my brain was like, oh, hey, we're gonna absorb that fear and do something with it and make you feel scared. And I was just like, no, I don't want it. That's not mine. You can keep it. When I realized that I was starting to absorb other people's fears, I had to kind of do a self check where it's like, if this person didn't tell me this, would I still be doing this, or is this coming from me? And I think that's one thing that you have to really hone in on. It's like you have to be so self-aware that you know when things don't belong to you. When it's just, hey, this is somebody's limitation, this is somebody else's fears, this is somebody else's doubts, where it's not yours. And when you get when you become that self-aware where you're just like, nope, this is me, this is what I love to do, and I'm going to do it no matter what, no one else fears can actually penetrate that. Another thing that I had to do was start eliminating everything that would stifle my dream, where it's like, if something didn't make me feel like I could accomplish what I actually dreamt about, then that something needed to go. And that something could be maybe the books I'm reading, the music I'm listening to, or even some people that I was hanging around. And it's like, if you don't support me in doing seriously. I have not heard a fighter jet in so friggin' long. And the fact that 4 of them just flew overhead. Wow. As I was saying, I had to eliminate everything that wasn't supporting my dreams. If there was any type of limitation to it had no place in being in my life, because it's like, I don't need people around me that's going to tell me I can't do something when I know that I actually can do it. And I don't need songs or books or all of those things that are telling me that, hey, you can't do this thing, or it's impossible for you to do this thing, because it's like, there's no limit to what I can do. And I'm going to eliminate everything that says I can't do this thing, because I'm going to be fearless and I'm going to try everything until I figure out a way to get it close to what I want, or even surpass what I want. So it's like, you have to eliminate those things from your life, and you have to be fearless. Be fearless and try whatever it is that you actually want to do. And another thing on top of that is like, take the word failure out of your dictionary, out of your language, out of everything. Because nothing in life is a failure. Everything is a lesson. You go through things because there's something there that you want to learn and something there that you need to understand in order to move on to the next level. So it's like you never fail. You never fail. You're gaining more knowledge to move on to the next thing. And it's like that's a beautiful way to look at life in general, because life is all about learning. It's all about trying things. It's all about doing different things. It's about experiencing things that you've never experienced before. So it's like when you limit yourself to just being what somebody else thinks you should be, you're kind of missing out a lot on your life. Don't allow other people to put you in a box. You can only put yourself in a box. And if you do that, you need to tear that box and free yourself. Because again, you can always hear me say this, you should enjoy your life and you should go and do the things that you want to do. Nothing is limiting you, only you. I realized that after I say to hell with other people's limitations and just go do what I want to do and focus on learning from that, I realized that even if it doesn't work out, I can just take what I learned and move on to doing other things that I actually do want to do. And when that happens, I start feeling limitless, because I know that the only person that's limiting myself is me, and no one can ever limit me if I don't allow them to. And it's like when you realize that, you're gonna want to try everything. You're gonna want to, hey, I want to swim. Speaking of that, there is this documentary I watched where there was this lady, well, it was a movie that was based on a lady who swam from Cuba to Florida. And it's like everybody was telling her it was impossible and she can't do it and it's just insane. And she tried it and she failed. But in her older age, she's like, you know what? I want to do it. And she tried it and she failed and she tried it and she failed and she failed multiple times. But you know what? She did it. She made that entire swim from Cuba to Florida because she believed in herself, and she found other people who believed that she could actually do it. So it's like when you surround yourself with people who believe in you, and when you have such a strong belief in yourself that you know that no matter what you set your mind to, you can actually do everything, there's no way you can lose. No way you can ever fail. And that's how I feel like we should all go about our lives. That's how we should live our lives. Anytime we feel like somebody is trying to put us in a box and trying to limit us and trying to make us feel like we're not good enough and that nothing that we do or nothing that we say will ever come out to what we envision. Anytime you walk into anybody like that, run fast and don't slow down. Run until you find some other people that's going to encourage you to do everything that you actually want to do. So back to me saying I would love to swim. Like I love swimming. I do. And I'm not the best, but I am learning. And it's like I went to Mexico and I saw in the early morning, I saw people swimming in the ocean and with like a floaty thingy that they tie around their waist to keep them afloat in the ocean. And I thought that was so cool. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not the best swimmer, but I would love to learn how to swim in the ocean, because it's one, I can't float in a boat, in a pool, but I can float in the ocean. So I'm just like, okay, the ocean kind of helps you. So if I learned how to swim in a pool, then I know the ocean is a different beast, but I can do that. Now, if I have people around me who are like, oh, why would you want to do that? Why would you ever do that? Oh, you could drown. You know, it's really deep out there. And it's just like, now I already know these things, okay? I need you to support me in my decision if I decide to do that, when I decide to do that, because I do believe I am actually going to do it. And it's like, if I don't surround myself with people who are going to push me forward, as much as I'm going to push myself forward, then why are you around me again? And I feel like more people need to do that, because there's so many people who can accomplish so many things, but because they don't have people around them to encourage them, to keep them going. Because no lie, it's like when you the only person that is pushing yourself and no one seem to believe in you, you kind of falter a bit, where you may feel like it's not worth going forward if you don't have the support. But once you find people who support you, then it's like magic. It's like everything that you do, there's no doubt in it anymore, because you know that if you get stuck in a certain situation, you have other people that you can talk to. But it's like, we need more of that. We need more people to encourage people to live their best lives and to live their truth. Because once everyone is living their truth, everyone becomes happier. And imagine the type of world that would be. Seriously. It might get a little disappointing if you don't have anyone around you who's going to support you in whatever you're going to do. And if all you're getting from people is their limitations and their beliefs that you can't do what you actually are setting out to do. I want to tell you that you don't need to take their advice. You don't. It is your life. You can live exactly how you want to live it. It's not like that person who told me, oh, hey, I'm not happy with how you chose to live your life. Guess what? They're not living my life. I'm living my life. And if I realize that I'm doing something that isn't making me happy, then I can change that. And so can you. You hold the keys to making your life better. You hold the keys to living the life of your dreams. Everything comes down to what you decide to do. Don't allow other people to put you in a box, to put their limitations on you. So when you get to the end of your life, you have all of these regrets and all of these things that you wanted to do and you never did it because you allowed other people to stop you from doing these things. It's not worth it.